What is going on, everyone? Tim from Tiraphone Orbital. Join me. Let's take a trip to Mars. Sometimes I feel like I'm on another planet when I'm talking to some folks from the Saber community. Anyway, so I feel like I just went over this same hilt that it was mine, actually. I do have one. So this is my personal Perseverance sample tube hilt. This is from TXQ. I believe LGT sells it as well. So this is the same install, same chassis. So we are going to come into Fusion really quickly and talk about it. And then we will come up top and talk about the hilt, because this one was sent to me already weathered. Whom it was weathered by, unfortunately, I don't know. Do not get out the pitchforks, please. I don't know who weathered this. If you did weather this, please reach out to me and let me know. I would be more than happy to give you ample credit. I believe credit should be given when it is due, right? So if you weathered this hilt, please let me know. The last thing that I want is to have some sort of call-out post on Facebook about not giving credit to somebody. The last thing I want is to have 2 call-out posts given to me, because that's going to waste a lot of people's time, and we don't want that. We really don't want that. I mean, we just don't. Nobody has time for that. So, if you weathered this hill, you did a good job. Let me know. Let me know so I can give you credit. I will shout it from the rooftops. In fact, you know those airplanes that fly by with the banners behind them? I will get one of those airplanes and I will have your name behind it. You should be given credit. And if you're not given credit, the lightsaber police will come after me. And I don't want that. So please, for my sake, let me know who you are.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. What the hell are you talking about? Who are you talking to?
Anyway, so this is the Mars Perseverance hilt. Let's talk about the chassis. Let's come into Fusion really quick, and then we're going to come up top, all right? Come on with me. All right, folks, listen, if you haven't guessed by now, I communicate mostly in sarcasm. If you don't have a sense of humor, you're at the wrong channel. So here we are in Fusion. This is the chassis that I designed for this particular hilt, okay? Right off the bat, look, I'm going to tell you right now, if you didn't watch my other video for this particular hilt, and if you don't pay attention to my tattoos or some of the posts that I make on my personal social media, I'm a NASA guy. NASA's and space travel, has been a passion of mine since I was a child. I grew up in South Florida, and Cape Canaveral was a couple-hour drive away. So I've been fortunate enough to see a number of shuttle launches. I've been a huge fan of the Apollo program when I was young. I still am. I'm just a nerd for that stuff. So anything space related, I always geek out over, right? So as far as NASA logos go, I feel as though the worm logo is my favorite, right? So I put the NASA worm logo on the spine of this chassis. On both sides of the chassis, we've got some greebly work. And by some, I mean an inordinate amount, just too much greebly work. I wanted this to look kind of like the internals of, like hydraulic rocket parts. Maybe something like that, right? So we've got greeblies on both sides, okay? And then at the bottom, there is a 22 millimeter fully enclosed speaker. This is from Smuggler's Outpost. I love these speakers. I feel as though they are comparable to a 24 millimeter speaker. However, you get for smaller builds, especially with like 1 inch internal diameter builds, you can fully enclose the speaker and really maximize the amount of resonance you get with them. So there's a 22 here, kill switch on the side of the chassis, and this is a tilted Proffie board chassis build. So the USB and SD card peek out just underneath the threads where the grip is, right? And we'll talk about that when we come up top. This is a single button setup. So there is a single red button tactile switch that is embedded into the chassis, and this is what the plunger switch makes a connection to, right? There are 2 holes on the upper part of the chassis. This is where I bring my leads out to light the LEDs on the external part of the switch, external part of the hilt. There are decorative LED lenses that ship with this hilt. When I received mine, the first thing that I thought of was that I wanted to get these lit. I wanted actual lit LEDs on the outside of the hilt. So that's what these 2 holes are. It's for access to bring wires through, right? And just light those 3mm LEDs. On this particular one, I have red and green LEDs that blink and pulse. They are their own blade in the config. And then up top, of course, there's just a lit blade side PCB, or just a lit PCB rather. And this is from CCsabers. All right, let's come up top. All right, so here it is. This is the Mars Perseverance sample tube hilt. This is from TXQ. Okay, so as I previously mentioned, this came to me already weathered. And this is actually a really, really cool weathering job, I must say, okay? It has been scratched up. So this hilt comes very, very pristine and shiny, like, right? So all this brass coloring is super, super shiny. I believe it's anodized aluminum, but one thing I noticed about this particular weathering job is that these gouges, it looks rusty. So whomever weathered this either did a fantastic job with their like burnt sienna wash, their rust wash, or I don't know. I mean, I don't think that there's any steel in this grip. So just a really, really great job doing the rust coloring on this. And we all know, I mean, I hope you know that the surface of Mars has a significant amount of iron. So there's just like a lot of rust. So it doesn't, when I weathered mine, I didn't want it to look dirty. I wanted it to look rusty. So this looks really, really cool. It's just been kind of beaten around and scratched. So really, really cool job on this weathering job. Weathering this hilt is just not easy. There's just a lot of thick anodization on this particular hilt. So again, whomever weathered this, kick-ass job, right? Please let me know who you are. Please let me know who you are. Anyway, so, and that's pretty much it, right? One of the things that I wanted to do with this particular install, as well as mine, like with this chassis design, I wanted to make it so you could remove this emitter, right? So with the sample tubes, they are dropped on the surface of Mars like so. They're dropped like this, right? And they do their thing. They collect their samples. They do whatever they're doing, collecting atmospheric samples or whatever. When it comes time to be collected, this flange that is here is only here so it is easier for the rover to grab them and put them back in their sample collection return tube, right? And once this is inside of that sample collection return tube, I'm such a nerd, this whole thing is actually removed, right? So this flange just kind of stays on the surface of Mars, basically. And this is the only part that is returned to Earth. Okay, so when I did my install, I didn't want to carry that PCB all the way up here. I wanted this to be removable, okay? So hypothetically, you can still use the hilt. Well, you can't really put a blade in here because there's no set screw down here. But I wanted this to be removable, obviously. Okay. So let's talk about how to use this guy. To get at your battery, or get at your chassis, you want to unthread your grip. Here's that battery tray. So I did a pass of pewter rub and buff on this chassis. The NASA logo was done with a little bit of Roman gold rub and buff, just to kind of give it a little bit of contrast, help it to stand out. And then everything was sealed. Okay, let's get a battery. So you want to take the flat part of your battery down towards the speaker. This was already on. If you don't hear anything, you want to hit that kill switch. Then, of course, you will see those LEDs ignite and animate. You can thread your grip on, and then you are ready to go. Very interesting font. All right. Let's come down to the bottom. Not quite sure what font this is. I believe this font package was sent to me by the customer. All right. Let's see what else we got on here. You know, I don't know why I have a tendency to hold this mic while I'm swinging this around. I feel like I'm holding it because I'm afraid I'm going to hit the mic with the lightsaber. I gotta get away from doing that. All right. All right. So let's put a blade in it. Okay, so this is a 1-inch blade holder, deep blade socket, right? You want to rest your blade on those PCB pins and then tighten your set screw just so it's kind of hugging that blade. There is one set screw in here. There is enough room for 4 set screws along each of the radius of the blade, but there's just one set screw in there currently. So tighten that set screw and you are good to go. See what else we got in here. One more. Interesting font selection here. That's it. So that is the Mars Perseverance sample tube hilt from TXQ. Really, really great hilt. I mean, there's for obvious reasons. I mean, I like it for obvious reasons, right? But yeah, this came to me already weathered. It looks great weathered. And I had a lot of fun doing the chassis on this one, right? So anyhow, to the customer, thank you very much for your repeat business. That always means a lot to me. If anyone has any questions about this particular build, please leave a comment below or feel free to reach out to me. And with that being said, may the force be with you always. Thanks for watching, everybody.